Good morning, everyone. Today is Friday, February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day. So happy belated Valentine's Day to everyone out there. Recording today without makeup on, so normally I don't do that. But whatever. Don't judge me, but didn't feel like doing it yet. I will do it probably after I finish recording this, but just wanted to update and wanted to get it all out while it was fresh on my mind. So today I am 17 weeks, 6 days pregnant. So tomorrow will be officially the start of my 18th week, which is crazy because this thing is flying by. It is going so quickly. I mean, who knew? It sounds like a long time in the very beginning, but it has just been going by so super quickly. So yesterday I went to the doctor and did a regular, I guess, checkup on the baby and everything. The baby's fine. I actually lost 2 pounds according to her scale. So I don't know what scale to trust, my scale at home or her scale. My doctor weighs me with my clothes on, and I am an avid believer that is not an accurate weight. I only weigh myself completely without anything on, so because I don't want any extra ounces anywhere. But they don't do that. They let you take your shoes off, of course, but everything else is on. And so my scale at home had me running roughly 4 pounds lighter than my doctor's scale up until this week. So this week I weighed myself just because I figured I'd add 4 pounds to whatever the scale at home said. And the scale at home had me gaining 3 pounds from my last doctor's visit. And I wasn't 100% happy about that, but I have to get this in my mind. I understand that I am pregnant, so that is what's supposed to happen. And you do gain weight. So I was like, okay, it's 3 pounds. So what? I mean, I'm almost 4.5 months pregnant. Like, gaining 3 pounds in that length of time is not a huge deal. But then when I went to the doctor, I had already added her 4 pounds to my 3 pounds because I know my scale was running like I said, or her scales. One of the scales was like 4 pounds different. And then when I go to her yesterday, she tells me I lost 2 pounds. So now I'm all types of confused. I don't know what to believe because my scale had me up 3 pounds. Her scale has me down 2 pounds. I mean, I know it's not a big deal, but it's just when you're trying to track your weight gain, and you want it to be accurate. So I kind of wanted it to be accurate, but she, we go by what the doctor's scale says, regardless of what my scale says. So for her scale, she has me down 2 pounds from when I originally started going to her. And so, that's, that's just what we're going by at this point. Everything else was fine. She looked at the baby's heart rate. It was really good. The baby was the right size. So it's not about weight gain. See, people may think, oh, you're not gaining enough weight, or you're gaining too much weight, or whatever. It's not about weight gain. It's about the baby's growth and development. And as long as the baby is growing and is the size it's supposed to be and is developing the way it's supposed to be, then it's not really about weight gain, which is why I don't subscribe to the thought that you're eating for 2. You do need to eat more. And I believe it's like roughly 300 calories or something like that a day. It's probably varies for each individual too. But you're not necessarily eating double, But I do have my moments where I am starving and I can't get enough, stuff in me, food of some sort or whatever I can get my hands on. So I do definitely suffer from that. I think that working out every day has helped, or 6 days a week has helped me with, keep my weight in a manageable level. And I do know that I'm getting, I'm still I'm like halfway through, but still in the earlier stages of this pregnancy. And towards the later part, you do put on more weight. So I am hoping to gain my weight then when, when the baby is gaining its weight more, than just putting on a whole lot of weight up front, because it's just not necessary. But, teach their own. So if you're gaining weight consistently throughout, I'm sure that's fine, or whatever your doctor says is fine. I just know that, like I told you in my last video, I'm at risk for preeclampsia anyway. Anything that I can do to lower that risk, and I know that exercise helps, anything that I can do, like not putting on a ton of weight, because I don't want to complicate it with something else, to the extent I can avoid it. You can't always avoid everything. So just because you are doing or what you think is right, but I don't want to have hopefully any other avoidable complications. So to the extent I can eat healthy-ish and work out, that's just, what I'm going to try to do. So a few other things I discussed with the doctor was, we talked about, and I don't think I've ever mentioned this before, but about maybe, it was 2010, so a little under 10 years ago, I had a breast reduction. It's hard to tell now because the things are kind of swelling up, I guess, with whatever goes on during pregnancy. But I had a breast reduction, and, I was in my 20s. I didn't care. I was happy to get rid of what I had going on, because then I had these cute ones that I thought were nice and perky, and I could wear strapless dresses and nice and halter tops. I was in my 20s. It was all cute, and I didn't have the saggier ones that I had that would look like long stockings. Even the nipple pointed to the bottom. Everything was kind of like to the south of me. Nipples were downward. Everything was downward. So in 2010, I had a breast reduction to fix that. And they were, they were large and floppy. But, they were mine. And, but I had that breast reduction, and I did not realize, and had you told me 10 years ago, I might not have cared. So it doesn't matter whether I realized it or not, but I didn't realize, didn't know, and probably wouldn't have cared, that may impede your future ability to breastfeed. So I discussed that with the doctor. She said it may not, and I may still be able to do it. I may not be able to do it. We really have to see. She said that often during those surgeries, they try to keep the breast it basically intact, so maybe they did. I really don't know. Nor did I think to ask, nor did they volunteer the information, because 10 years ago, I was not thinking about having anybody's baby. So yeah, I would like to breastfeed. I don't knock anyone who doesn't want to breastfeed. I understand it's a completely personal decision. And even if your breasts are in their original, condition, you may still choose not to breastfeed, or it may not work, because I understand sometimes for whatever reasons it doesn't work out. But I would like to. I was breastfed for, I think, at least the first year. I know my mom went hard with that and probably did it beyond the first year, but I was breastfed, and I would like to breastfeed my child. I do know that it is supposed to be the healthier option. It helps with your immune system, growth, development, yada, yada, yada. It's all these great things for why you should do it, and I would like to do it if possible. I am a little sad that I may not be able to do it, but again, it's may not be able to. I might be able to. I don't know yet, but I'm a little sad that I may not be able to do it. Because it's something I would like to do. But I am coming to terms with the fact that I may not be able to, but I'm hopefully being cautiously optimistic, so maybe I can. We'll see. I'll let you know, but I'm a little ways away. I mean, the way my breasts are growing and all sore, something's going on. I don't, but just because it's, preparing itself, everything may not be connected the way that it was supposed to be connected. And also when you get the breast reduction, you may have scar tissue. So any type of breast surgery, you may have scar tissue. So I don't know. As I said, it's more of a wait and see, and we'll have to figure out when the milk actually comes, which is with the baby. But, I'd like to be able to do it. So I'm a little sad about that, but it's something I'll have to get over. So I'll definitely need to have formula as a backup until we can figure this out, whether I can do it or not. We also discussed constipation. And for me, lately, and especially in this trimester, the constipation has been no joke. I am amping up my fiber intake. I take Metamucil 3 times a day because my doctor said, of course, Metamucil is safe to take. It is just a fiber supplement, and it has not been working. I'm going to keep it real with everyone. It has not been working. So when you're constipated, you already feel stuffed and uncomfortable, and you could feel nauseous just from that. So with this other nonsense going on, I do not need that. I need to at least be regularly going, because you're already feeling bloated from the baby and all of this, and it's like I really need to relieve this constipation. Now, there's some other things that she did tell me were safe to take during pregnancy, such as milk of magnesia, Miralax, prune juice, and Colace. So I know she said all of those things, and she gave me a whole packet that had a whole lot of medications for different conditions that are safe to take during pregnancy. I was just trying so far I've been trying with eating prunes, eating oatmeal, trying to up my fiber through my diet, and adding in the Metamucil. But that is not working. So I guess I'm going to have to get something a little stronger, which I'm thinking of milk of magnesia. I've actually never had milk of magnesia, so I don't know. But if it'll work, I want something that works within the day that I take it now. I've been doing this Metamucil for a few days now, and it is not doing anything. I've been upping my fiber for at least the last week, which is when I started to notice that I was having this problem off and on, and it's not doing what I needed to do. It works a little, but it's not regularly. So I want to get on hopefully being a lot closer to being regular. And my understanding for the reason why constipation increases, especially during this trimester, is because the progesterone slows down your digestion. And so by slowing down your digestion, and the reason it slows down your digestion is so you can get more nutrition from the food that you're eating from the baby. So by slowing down your digestion, it makes you constipated. So it will be another thing to look forward to if you're not that far along. And maybe you won't get it. I don't know. But that's just what I'm going through right now. And I would like it to be resolved, because I feel like you have a lot going on anyway right now. So I just feel like if I can clear some of that out, you don't want to carry around a bunch of waste anyway. I mean, you're already carrying around a baby. You're carrying around a placenta. You're carrying around amniotic fluid, which is urine, by the way, in case you didn't know. I don't know if I ever mentioned it, but amniotic fluid is primarily urine, not your urine, fetal urine. So, yeah, that's another fun fact for you in case you didn't know. So you're carrying around all that extra, and it's just nice to get rid of the waste where you can. So enough about that topic. I also spoke with the doctor about, I spoke in another video about Black women dying more, and I think it's almost double than any other race in childbirth. And I wanted to know why that was, what her thoughts were. My doctor is also Black. So I felt comfortable talking to her about it. And she said, even though she kind of chuckled when I brought up the study, because she was like, she's heard all about that. And she felt that it wasn't really something that I needed to worry about, because when they do these studies, they're referring to women who don't have access to or don't take advantage of prenatal health care or just health care generally. So issues that they may have that could have been determined during their prenatal visits weren't determined, and then they suffer from severe complications during delivery that unfortunately may be fatal. So that is what she was saying. She said, I don't necessarily need to worry about it that much, because I am coming to the doctor, getting checked, staying on top of these things. And this is, even more reason why we as women, and especially Black women, you need to be on top of your health, because something that millions of billions of trillions of people do, which is give birth. It's because, everyone got here through that, but it's something that Black women in particular have been in the last few years and just consistently dying more. And sometimes it's unexplained. So even though my doctor gave me an explanation, I didn't necessarily just jump on board with her explanation and say, okay, it's not something I need to worry about. It's in the back of my mind, of course. It's nothing I can worry about because there's nothing I'm going to do about it. But she did give me an explanation. Yeah, I'm sure not having access to adequate health care is a portion of why those people are those women are dying. But I don't think that's the whole story. I think that's part of a story. It's an easy answer, but I think that's part of it. I also feel that Black women, they're when they say they're in pain, it's not taken as seriously as it is with other women or other races. Because let's be realistic, there's still bias against us. For a long time, we were thought not to be human. That's a fact. This is not an opinion. For a long time, we were thought not to be human. We were thought to be, cattle or worse than cattle. Not that there's anything wrong with cattle, but and we were thought not to feel pain the way that other women do. And that's why the way that even gynecologists, the way that the whole area of medicine, of gynecology, a lot of experimentations were done during slavery on Black women without anesthesia, because it was thought that they do not feel pain. I'm here to tell you, we feel pain. We are human. We bleed. We have all those same issues that everyone else has. But because we were for a long time thought to be superhuman and subhuman at the same time, which is crazy, sometimes I feel that ailments with us aren't necessarily taken as serious. So, if we're having pain, people may just brush it off. And not necessarily because they're thinking, oh, well, back in slavery, you weren't considered human. But I just think there is still this maybe unconscious biasness about, our pain tolerance, or maybe what's going on with us or whatever. There is a biasness when it comes to healthcare. It is accurate. If you don't believe it, look it up, do the research, because it's real. So maybe that accounts for a portion of it. And a lot of maybe the Black women who died during childbirth are maybe poor and can't, afford healthcare. But Black people aren't the only people who are poor. So why doesn't it affect poor people of other demographics? So you don't hear about that. There's poor people of every demographic who may not have access to healthcare, and yet they're still not dying when they give birth. So again, like I said, it's a portion of the answer is probably, yeah. For some women, they didn't get the healthcare that they needed. They may have had an issue, didn't get it checked, like preeclampsia, which can be severely dangerous, and that may have led to it. I don't know. I will never know. Just praying that and everyone else, we're all keeping healthy, and that we deliver safely, and the babies are healthy, and we're healthy. And that's really all that matters. But it is food for thought, and something I wanted to discuss with her, because it is something I am aware of, and that could have potentially affect me. And given that, like I said, she is also a Black woman, it was something that I was a little more comfortable discussing with her, although I do think she gave me a PC answer. We also talked about the placenta, and whether I should eat it or get it or leave it to be trashed. And I talked about this once before with her, and I was still on the fence, and I'm still on the fence, but the odds are I'm probably going to leave it. I mentioned in another video, people say it helps with all types of stuff like postpartum depression, and to increase your energy and recovery after the baby, and your iron and all that good stuff, and has a whole bunch of benefits. None of those have actually been proven. They're all anecdotal. So she said, if you have iron issues, we can give you after delivery, because you do lose a lot of blood apparently. She said we can give you some iron supplements, but she was definitely not pushing the eating or the getting of the placenta, although she did say that if I want it, I can get it, as long as it's not diseased or impaired in some way. And unfortunately, if you do get preeclampsia, the placenta is affected, so it may not be a possibility. Hopefully, prayerfully, I don't get preeclampsia anyway, but just things to keep in mind, because the placenta is also affected, because the placenta doesn't, the blood vessels in the placenta are constricted or something like that, and it just doesn't work the way it's supposed to work, which is why they ultimately end up, one of the reasons why they ultimately end up delivering the baby. Anyway, as I mentioned, she confirmed, and I talked about this in my last video, that we're going to probably deliver at 38 weeks. And so, you know, so my due date is July 20th. So, like, 38 weeks is July 6th. So, we'll see. And, I mean, that was really the bulk of it. Like I said, she looked at the heartbeat. We saw the baby briefly. I have my anatomy scan, which my understanding is a full detailed ultrasound on March 6th. And that will be to really see everything with how the baby is growing. Hopefully not the gender, because I still do not want to know the gender. Luckily, yesterday she did a good job in not opening her mouth about the gender. But I do not want to know the gender. So my next visits, or the next one, will be on March 6th for my my anatomy scan. And then I also need to schedule a, I mentioned this last time, a fetal echocardiogram, because I was born with a heart murmur and some valves that didn't close, and they believe that that's a congenital defect, and they want to make sure that the baby does not necessarily have that or any other heart problems. So I have to get that done. It's not yet scheduled, but I need to get that done around 21 weeks or something, she was saying. So I guess fairly soon. I mean, I think it's probably fine, but I guess you can't be too safe. So better safe than sorry. And, you know, it's interesting because emotionally, and I you know, I'm an odd egg, I guess, with this one, because emotionally, I'm still like all over the place. Even when I saw the baby on the screen briefly yesterday, I was just like, it's a baby. You know, I knew there was a baby. I know it looks like a baby. Interestingly enough, my baby is actually behind the placenta. So some women at this point, they start to, you start to feel the baby kick and or punch or do whatever or move around. And I haven't really started. I thought I might have, but I thought it could be gas, especially with the constipation. So I don't really know. I know she said, and other things I've read, it says it feels like a butterfly or flutters in the very beginning. And then it gets stronger as you go throughout the pregnancy. Like I said, I haven't consistently felt it. I don't know if I will feel it right now because it's still a little early. She said it might, you know, it might happen closer to like 25 weeks. But what's interesting is that when we were looking at the baby yesterday, the baby is actually behind the placenta for me. So if you were going straight through my stomach, the first thing you would hit before you got to the baby would be the placenta. So as I was watching the baby on the monitor, the baby was squirming and kicking. And I was like, oh, wow, which was kind of cute. I have to admit, it was kind of cute. And I said, well, wow, it's kicking, but I don't feel it. And she said, yeah, it's, you know, you may not feel it yet, although some women feel it at this point. It's still early. But she also mentioned that the baby is behind, my baby is behind the placenta. So it is kicking the placenta, which is a little bit of a buffer here. So she said it may be a little longer for me before I can really feel it, or until the baby moves, because right now the baby is really just kicking or hitting at the placenta, because the placenta is like right in front of the baby right now, which is weird, I guess. But maybe my baby's further back. I really don't know. But, you know, everything, she didn't care about any of that. She didn't bring up that it was, you know, odd or anything, but she was just saying that it may be a little longer because this baby has a little bit of a buffer in front of it. So yeah, but watching it kick on the screen, I noticed for the first time it looked the most human, even though in my last ultrasound, which I think was around 13 weeks, it looked more human than I'd ever seen it, and I could see the digits in his fingers and all of that, but it still looked a little skeletal. So now it's starting at this point to gain a little layer of fat. And it's funny because I could see like it was kicking his legs up in a more of a coordinated effort. Up until now, every time that I've seen it move, it was more like wiggling and just like random, you know, jerky movements. But this looked more like, I have legs, I'm going to kick them up, like more like what you see babies do. So I thought that was cute, and it did look a little more real, but without feeling it, watching something on the screen but not feeling it is still, to me, surreal. So I think that's also why I'm not as connected with it yet. And hopefully once I can feel those movements, I will hopefully understand that this thing is really in there. But that's really my update right now and where I stand. And so far, everything is okay. My blood pressure yesterday was still in its normal yet high ranged. So it was like 138, I think, over 80. But that was the blood pressure from the moment as soon as I came in. Sometimes they take it twice, they'll wait and take it again, and it usually lowers. They did not take it a second time this time, so I don't know whether it would have lowered or not. But like I said, yesterday it was still high for what they wanted, but not so high that they would put me on medication. It's just, that's why I'm in the risk zone. But I'm doing everything I could do. I'm taking my baby aspirin, and you know, trying to be healthy, and it's really all I can do, and just keep an eye on it. But pray for me. I will pray for you. If you have any thoughts, ideas, or you just want to share your experience, please feel free to do that. Also, I need to get a baby book. I've been putting it off. I haven't gotten a baby book. My mom is constantly on me, make a baby book, make a baby book. Don't you think the baby, you're going to want to see it later? And I said, no, not really. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, I have a baby book from when I was a baby. It was more so after I was born. But when I was a kid, I looked at it a few times, but I mean, whatever. I'm curious. I want to see once this baby is born to compare maybe my pictures with what the baby looks like. But you know, but I'll make a baby book. I'm going to start because I have lots of ultrasound pictures right now, and I will have a lot more because I'm going to get a lot more ultrasounds because of the growth. They're going to be more on top of making sure my growth and development with that blood pressure is on point. So we'll see. I mean, I didn't get a picture yesterday. She did. I could have probably asked for one, but you know, I'm waiting for the 20 week, and we can make a big production out of that. My husband will be there, and we'll all ooh and ah over how cute this creature is. So I'm waiting for that, and so I will. I'm sure I'll get, you know, I think last time I had an ultrasound done with them, they gave me 6 pictures. So I'm sure I'll get at least 6 pictures to go from that. I mean, right now I do have quite a few ultrasound pictures, even from embryo stage, or so, you know, so this baby has from very beginning to, you know, and beyond, I guess. So again, happy belated Valentine's Day to everyone. I will update you next week just on symptoms. But FYI, my birthday is next Thursday. So, you know, so I'm coming up on birthday week, or I guess I'm starting birthday week since it's Friday now. So, but I will still update and just let you know how the 18th week is treating me. But please share your experiences, and we can, you know, can compare. All right, I'll talk to you later.